What's up, guys? TK here. Welcome to Founders Unscripted. We've got another hot episode with the founder and CEO of Proof. His name is David Rogenmoser, and we're about to get a quick tour of his office, so let's check it out. So we're in Austin, Texas, downtown. Pretty cool space here. Open floor concept. So David's got about 14 employees, a couple phone booths, got a studio back here. Chill out lounge area, things like that. Lovely open space kitchen over here. What up? I love this ping pong table. We're gonna have to grab one of these for our offices as well. A couple meeting rooms, class rooms. Love it. And we're gonna go check out the patio next. This patio is epic. Go check it out. Wow. What a space, right? Especially in the fall. I think this is a great place to eat lunch with the employees, hang out. We've got this thing here. We'll give it a shot. All right, let's check out this interview. Hey, what's up, David?
Good to be here, man.
Good to see you.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So funny thing is, we come from the same batch. Winter 2018, Y Combinator.
It was a good year, good batch, the best batch ever.
Best batch ever. And we're gonna have a lot of unicorns coming out of that batch. Right?
Yeah, you're looking at two right here.
Exactly. So I'd like to just kind of jumpstart right into your story. So why don't you just give the audience like a brief version of your life story up to founding Proof?
Yeah, so I had wanted to be an entrepreneur most of my life. Went to college, that kind of got beat out of me a little bit. I feel like there was nobody I knew that was doing anything entrepreneurial in school, and I ended up leaving, taking a job working for this ministry at the University of Missouri. And towards the end of that time, I was there for 4 years. I was thinking like, okay, I need to go like start a company. I want to go start a company, but like didn't know anybody doing anything like that. So I ended up moving out to Annapolis, Maryland, and met a couple guys that were running this other startup. And they were running, it's like a physical therapy software. And it was actually Chris and JP, my two co-founders now. And I was running this little like fraternity recruitment software. Hired this guy on Upwork, spent $10,000 getting the whole thing built. Wow. It sucked. So basically just burned, $10,000. And then we ended up kind of teaming up. And we said, okay, like we're not very good at building software yet. We want to do this someday down the road, but we needed to go like learn skills about how to acquire customers. And so we ended up launching this marketing agency because it was like instant cash. $1,500 a month. We'll build out your website. We'll do your Facebook ads. We'll do your SEO, all of that. And that's kind of what we started selling, just to like build cash flow, like pay for ourselves. They were married, had kids, so like they needed to like make some money.
Right.
I was just eating ramen noodles and was like totally fine because I was single.
How old were you back then?
This was like 5 years ago, so 25.
25.
Yeah, I'm 30 now. So we're doing that. That starts growing really, really well. And we were like, hey, we got something here, but there wasn't like any leverage. Like service is hard. It's terrible. We weren't like systemized enough to do that. And so we kind of looked and we said, okay, let's productize what we're doing and like get some leverage behind this thing. So we ended up building a course, kind of like you guys get in the education space. We created this training program that taught people how to leave their job and go start a marketing consulting business. We call it 6K Success, because the idea was get to $6,000 a month. Once you're at $6,000 a month, you can kind of like do whatever you want. Like you've got some freedom. So we launched that. Probably had like 500 people buy that course. Selling it just through a webinar training program. Like learned a ton about marketing, learned a ton about leverage, learned a ton about how to like scale a business. Ended up stopping all the service stuff and just doing that. So kind of this marketing training program.
How much was the course?
It was $1,000. We sold it through this like automated webinar, Facebook ads into that. So probably made $500,000 from that. And we were like, this is cool. Like, this is a lot of fun.
So $500,000 in profits, or like
just top line from that.
Growth.
And then we started adding like a high ticket coaching course. It was like $6,000. So we kind of kept like ascending up this model.
Yep. It's like an info marketing world.
This is the whole info marketing world.
Yep.
I'm deep in
Ty
that.
Lopez, I know, does.
Yeah. Okay. I'm more of like a Ryan Dice,
Okay.
digital marketer. So I'm in that whole world, and it's really cool. It's fast and loose, but.
Yep.
I think we saw two things happen. One, competitors would lie about what they were doing. And so I'd look at a guy selling a course like mine, and he'd be saying all these untrue things about it. He would say like, a ton of people are buying my course. A ton of people are buying this.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, that sucks, because like I wasn't willing to do that, but it was working. The other thing I saw happening was like Facebook ad. We were talking about this before. You know, Facebook ads kept getting more and more expensive, and so all of a sudden, I was maybe on $1,000 course, spending $200 CAC. Then I'm spending $250, then $300, then $500, then $800. It's like, okay, like I can't scale this thing anymore. And like we needed an edge, and so we were kind of thinking about software again at that point, and we were like, well, like we'd seen on like Booking.com and Airbnb these like live social proof things that like showed how many people were booking, how many people were buying. And we thought that'd be cool for our funnel. And we liked it because it was more transparent, so it was honest, but it also seemed like it would work and like increase conversions and like help us, sell more stuff there. So we looked, we couldn't find any tool, like third-party tool to hook that up. And so my partner, JP, he was like, well, I'll just build this thing, we'll test it, I'll build it myself.
So JP's technical.
He's an engineer, but he wasn't doing any of that. He was just doing like funnels and like, we were totally underutilizing him. He was just kind of like the IT guy. So anyway, so he builds this thing, we put it on our site, and we're like, let's see what happens. We were selling this course called the Entrepreneur Alliance. It was like a $30 a month membership site. And the conversion rate was about 20% on the order form. So we put this little thing that popped up, it showed how many people bought. And we came back after running the test, and
we're a customer on our
pages. Customer, and came back, and it had went from 20% to 42% on the order form.
Oh, wow.
And I think at first we were like, okay, we're gonna be able to sell a lot of courses, but then quickly after that we were like, wait a minute, like this should be a product. Like we had to build this ourselves, this should be a product. And so that was kind of our transition from like marketing and info into software.
Wow.
All of them were like serving the same audience. So we kind of turned around, we had this big audience built that bought all of our stuff. We kind of sold it to them initially. We knew the space, we knew what they needed. It was kind of like the perfect fit for like us to go like offer that into the market, and things just kind of like blew up on that product. So that's kind of the shift into proof.
So that was the aha moment. Let's kind of rewind back. So in that aha moment, one, how long did it take you guys to code that little pop-up? And then two, like, what was that aha moment? You're like, let's go all into this.
So the first version only took like 3 days to do. And it wasn't an app, it was just like a piece of code. He like, he like manually embedded into our site. There's no login, there's no billing, there's none of that. And it worked. And it's funny, like, I think we did that like December 15th, maybe like 2 years ago. And we had this like end of year retreat with just the 3 co-founders, like 5 days later. And the entire retreat, we're supposed to plan, look back at the year, plan out the next year. We scrapped all that, we planned out proof. And we had the new name for it, and like we went all in instantly. And I don't really know what it was, but we just had a really good feeling like this thing was gonna work. And so we just like fully switched, and then we went and put it on a few friends' sites, kind of in like beta. We said, we'll install this, A/B test it, just let us know if it works. If it doesn't, sorry for bugging you. And all of them increased conversion rate on like their webinar signups and their trials and all that. And so then I think we were just like, okay, like this is something. And then we took it from there, and we went and pre-sold it because we didn't really have a lot of money, and we wanted to prove out the model. So we like hosted this webinar, invited like our whole email list to it, had maybe like 250 people attend the webinar, and we kind of did this whole pitch about it and said it's not ready yet, but if you sign up now, you'll get first access. We ended up selling like 40 people who paid $1,000 for the first year for a product that wasn't even ready yet. And that was nice because it gave us cash flow, but also we were like, wait, this is really something that people want. We've got the base, this is proven out, that was it. And so at that point we were like, great. We started shutting down other parts of our business and said like, we're going all in here. And just kind of turned the corner on it.
That was 2017?
Yes, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there you have it. Like, I mean, that's proof right there, right?
Yeah.
That you could actually, in just a few days, even with a snippet of code, kind of test an idea, go to market, and even like see if you can get prepaid customers even before the product ships. But I like your story because it's like you actually use the product for your own needs and saw like, wow, this actually works for our funnel. What if other people could use it? And
yeah, it's kind of like the classic origin story almost, where it's like, we didn't just come up with this idea out of thin air. Like, yeah, I saw it on booking.com, but like I had put myself in a position over the last 3 years to like do this thing well. I put myself in a position to like know the pain, to like have the audience, to like have my like antenna up. But really it's like, I could have just logged off that booking.com time and like not thought about it. But like my antenna was up and I'm like looking for like opportunities in the market. And then luckily I had a CTO that could go build it in a couple of days. But it's like, I think everything kind of built really naturally like on itself. And we were like solving our own pain instead of like trying to like solve this pain we didn't know anything about, you know?
I love it because I hear sometimes startup founders like, they'll like go lock themselves in a room and try to like stick a bunch of ideas on the wall and see what sticks. But like when you're actually coming up with that next aha idea through like a series of experience or hunches or whatnot, I feel like that's when you can get the biggest idea that is a group of hunches that just like lights that ball.
Totally. And then we stayed really lightweight with it the whole time. Like we were very open-handed. We're like, okay, I think this is something, but like we could have gone and we could have locked ourselves in the closet after that first experiment and like been like, we're gonna go build up this entire company. But instead we were like, let's go like test it on some sites before we tell anybody about it. And like even that, let's go like launch a webinar, like sell it for make $40,000 from it before we even like write any more code. So like we definitely were like very scrappy, like very like we want to find out we're wrong as fast as possible. And like we're probably wrong. Let's go find out if we are. If in the rare chance we're not, like let's go proceed with caution though.
Yeah, so testing your hypothesis, guys. I mean, it's super important during the early stages of a startup. Let's jump right into, so you found proof, you're like all in, let's go. Tell us, what's the elevator pitch for Proof?
So kind of what the pitch was back then was we help businesses increase website conversion through live social proof. That was like what we like pitched at like YC. Actually at YC our demo day pitch was we help businesses increase website conversion through personalized social proof because we were starting to get into this personalization space.
That's a version 2.0.
Yeah. Now I would say our pitch is more we help businesses increase website conversion through personalized website content. But that's kind of for the new product that's to come. But that was kind of the product. And so we took that product, we applied to YC, we got the interview, fly out there, and we had just launched the product like...
It's winter 2017, right? Going into...
Yes, but this was like... Yeah, when was this? Yeah,
November probably.
Yeah, this is like November-ish, totally. It was like early November, and whenever you did it, you know, as well. Early November, we had kind of just launched this thing, got it off the ground, and we had like 4K of MRR, and all of my mindset was around like the day-to-day small stuff. So I'm like, I know my trial conversion rate, I know like all these little metrics. I sit down with, you know, Paul Buchheit, you know, who built Gmail, and he's like, he's like, this is really cool, guys, but how does this become $1 billion company? And honestly, I hadn't even thought about that. I was just trying to figure out how to hook Stripe up to our order form, you know, because like we were trying to like, you know, get that working. And so I'm like totally in the day-to-day. They didn't ask a single question about that. And so like we got to the end of the interview and they're kind of like, hey, this is cool, but like come back to us when you've got like the vision for like what does this thing become. So we went back and kind of like thought about that. And it's like took a week and I was like, hey, like what could this thing become and all that. We ended up growing it from like 4K MRR to like 75K MRR like in the next like 4 months or something like that. And we were just like, we're gonna blow it up. And then we applied to YC again, went back out. Honestly, we probably got in just because the revenue was like impressive enough, but also had like the vision for, totally. Like we just like crushed it. And then like we came back and we had that vision for like, hey, this is like starting as this, but then we're gonna turn into like personalizing the entire marketing funnel down the road. And that was enough to get us into YC and kind of off to the races from there.
That is awesome. So never give up. If you're applying to any of these top accelerators, is like I see a lot of founders they'll apply and they'll give up. You know? But you just need to improve on your metrics, really.
Totally. And I remember like Michael Seibel, he was the one who sent us the rejection email, and we were like pretty bummed, you know. Like I really wanted to get in, but he was like, hey, like I'd be down to help you with this if you want. I think a lot of people like wouldn't take him up on that, but we ended up scheduling a call with him probably like 3 months later to kind of like pitch the new idea and all that, and he like shaped it a ton, and like we wouldn't have gotten in honestly had I not like had that conversation with him again, and it was like kind of nerve-wracking. But I think a lot of people like have opportunities like that, and even like I've probably got an email inbox of like people who have like asked, said that they'd help me that I haven't hit up yet. But it's like being able to like take people up on like their offers like has been huge for us.
Absolutely. Awesome. So talk to me about your first investor. So you apply to summer 18, don't get in, work on that hockey stick metrics, apply, get in. Who's your first investor in Proof?
First investor was Brad Flora. You know him at all?
No.
He was the former CEO of Perfect Audience. He's like a YC like guest mentor or whatever, like right now. Yep. He was just a good guy. I just met him just randomly there. I think I messaged him on Bookface and was like, hey, do you want to get lunch? And it ended up being like really, really helpful, connecting me to a ton of other investors. And he's kind of the first guy, because that first investor is hard to get. It's like, it's always hard you're like, there's nobody else that's backed me. I might be crazy. But he was like, hey, like I'll like, do the first, check in. And I don't know, it wasn't like a huge amount, but like just even having that one, like totally like helps you.
Was it 25K, 50 smaller check?
I think it was 50.
50K?
I don't remember. That's kind of a standard check.
Yeah, standard check. But those add up. So I think, the lesson here also is that you get the first check, you get more intros, but those pile up. I mean, I remember back in, during our Angel Pad days, like our group, like they would whine about these small checks, like 20K, oh, he's only writing a 20K check. I'm like, dude, 10 20K checks is 200K.
Totally.
Totally. So you can't underestimate those small checks. And usually the small check guys have the most like advice and like connections too, right?
That's been all of us. I mean, he's one of our most helpful guys. He's like one of the investors I'm still texting all the time. I like ask like operational advice, like should we hire someone? Like, I was a little bit ago, I was hiring somebody and like the salary was a little bit more than I kind of was wanting to do at the time, and he was like, man, he's like, is it going to make or break your company? Like, he's like, just like do it. And like several times I've called investors and they've just been like, what are you in your head for? Just like do this thing and stop thinking about this today. So been hugely helpful, like even from an operator perspective, getting his advice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now you raised, was it 2.1 or?
Yeah, like right around there.
2.1 million. Who was your biggest check? And did you have a lead, or was this all safe notes?
We didn't have a lead. It was all safe notes, mostly angels and kind of seed funds. We had one company come in for like 500. That was like our biggest. But for the most part, it was all kind of just seed and like smaller funds there.
All right.
We probably had like 18 or 20 investors ended up coming in total.
And then valuation, did you move the safe cap, or was it a range?
So we actually didn't. We raised like 12 million cap, and we just kept it there.
Pre-money.
Yeah. We totally could have moved it. I think we totally could have raised at like 15 or whatever. And there's definitely like, I think in the moment you're always like thinking about that. And like you see people
move the cap.
Or, but it's like, I think I was just like, you know what?
That's a high cap.
I just took YC's advice that like this doesn't really matter. Valuation's not going to make or break you. Just like raise. They're kind of like raise as much money as you can and just like shut it down and like get back to work. So we didn't ever raise the cap. We just kind of kept it the same the whole time just for consistency.
Awesome.
What about you guys? How'd you guys structure it?
So we actually started, I believe, pre-YC, I raised like $1 million, like a 9 million cap, and then we raised it to 12 or 14, I believe.
Gotcha.
So
yeah. How long before YC did you raise that million?
Just like a couple months before existing investors, because the way I like to say that, how we raised our money was like, we raised $1 million in 2016. That was during Angel Pad, as you know, where I'm not sure if I even told you, we went to 2 basically accelerators.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Very unique situation. Angel Pad, one of the top accelerators, along with YC, both platinum accelerators. And we ended up doing $1 million in summer 2016, and then 2 years later, during YC, we did 2.1. So we ended up raising 3.1. So I like to call we did a seed, and then we did a seed plus during YC.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, raising money through YC was a lot of fun. I mean, it's like it's compressed. It was so much easier. It's like it's just like a week, like all inbound. Like we totally got a ton of no's. Like it's not, it's not just free money. Like I probably got 50% of my pitches were a no. But it's
that's a high close rate.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But it's like, it's like every no, you're like, well, I've got like 30 more emails in my inbox right now. Like people don't like want to meet or whatever. So YC definitely like flips the whole script and just makes it like so easy to do it.
So tell us, you know, you raise that money, like I think a lot of founders make the mistake is they spend that money way too fast. There's that saying like, you know, raise less, you know, and you'll be more frugal. And if you raise a lot, you'll end up just blowing it all.
Yep.
The same runway, because like, I think YC, like best practice, like you want to raise so you have enough like runway for at least 2 years. That's the way I kind of look at it. Or even 18-month minimum. What was kind of that thinking when you raised? Did you want?
We wanted to raise at least $1 million.
Okay.
That was kind of like the first number. It was like, we're going to raise $1 million, and we're totally fine if we don't raise $1 million. I think that was going to allow us to, you know, move, get an office, and then the thought was like it's going to give us some margin to like build out a sales team and like be able to like kind of mess that up for 6 months and like, you know, not have to like nail every sale. And then like I think it was we ended up getting to about 1.5 million, and then one of my investors, I was like, how much should I raise? And he was like, dude, he's like, this is the easiest money you're ever going to get. He's like, just take every check anybody wants to give you right now. And I was like, all right, let's try it. So we ended up just kind of taking like the rest of the easy money, getting up to like 2.1 million, and then kind of like, and then kind of just like, you know, there was no other easy money. It had been like, again, like 9 days. And we're like, okay, we just like need to get back to like building the company. So I don't know. So I think I was like, okay, we just need at least $1 million, and past that, it's kind of like whatever. That was kind of my mindset, was get $1 million in so we can go do some things. We can like relieve some of the pressure there. We probably had like 80 grand in the bank at the time. So like any given time, like we were like, you know, in rough shape. But then we moved to Austin, and I totally feel that like you spend money. Like we were talking about this before, like I look at our like P&L like the months after we like moved, after we raised money, and it's like, you know, all these extra expenses, and it's like, we bought this golf simulator that, you know, sorry investors, but we bought this golf simulator for like 6 grand and had it in the office. And after like that had kind of like worn off, I was just really like embarrassed of that. And I hated walking by it. I hated using it. I was like, why do we have that thing? Like that thing is everything that's like wrong with like the feeling after like raising money. So we're actually taking it down and sold it now to be like, get that thing out of here. That's not what we're about. Like we're not there yet. And there will be a day in the future when we have a golf simulator, but it's like, it's not, but it's like, it's not now. So I definitely think like once you raise money, you got to like really like pull that back and be like, I'm going to get that thing out of sight, out of mind, and just like build.
So let's talk about, you know, when you first started, you got to like 4K MR, and then YC 75K MR. You broke that even, I'm assuming, like from YC to that summer, you broke that $1 million mark, I'm assuming, right? 100K, like 80, 90.
Oh, like ARR?
Yeah. 1 million ARR for sure. 2018, what's your revenue look like? What's that jump?
Yeah, so we kind of raised at demo day like 175K MRR was where we were there.
Wow.
Yeah, we ended up growing from there up to about like 230-ish before we kind of like, and the big problem for us was like churn. And we had like double-digit churn, and it was just like bad. It was just, that's a tough market. Like we're some of these like info marketers, you know, businesses come and go, like they're going out of business all the time. Summertime hits, they're taking the summer off. You know, so it's a tough industry, and everyone I've talked to. Plus, we're kind of got a product that's like easy come, easy go. So it's not like a website platform where like even if you take the summer off, you leave it there. It's like if you're not running traffic, you don't need this thing popping up, you know. And so it's like we have the advantage of like it's super easy for companies to start with us, but it's just like a little flip of the switch to like turn it off and like you know, do whatever you want.
What did your churn go up to?
Oh, I mean, like I think like at its worst, it was probably like, you know, 12 or 13% monthly.
Okay, that's not too bad. Our churn went up to like, I think even like 15, 18%. Close to even 20%. When you're not looking at that number, and all of a sudden it hits you.
And at YC, and we had delayed it so much. For YC, we were just like, you know, let's just grow until demo day. And you know, you just, there's things you can do that impact growth. There's things you can do that impact churn. And a lot of times when you're growing, churn's going to go up already. And so
you don't focus on retention as much too.
I was on retention.
You just started focusing on retention.
Totally. That's like the lesson, man. It's like we would always think about, you know, the new customers that come in. I thought and that's what we celebrated. We celebrated MRR instead of, you know, metrics that our customers care about. All of our like OKRs were just around like us. And since we've kind of made that hard shift that I think any successful company goes through, where it's okay, like this is actually about the customer. Like the metrics we want on the dashboards are like customer success metrics. Like what's our conversation rating in Intercom is like a big number to report on now. It used to be like 80%, this last month, I think it was 100% of people like responded favorably, like in like support. We started tracking like how many people like get notifications live on their site, like all those things. And like that's been like a huge turning point for our company.
Wow.
Also, like what we used to talk, like at the beginning we would kind of talk bad about customers. Like they'd be in support, we'd be like, oh, this guy has these dumb questions and his needs, and like, you know,
fire these bad
like what an idiot, we're gonna fire him. And it's like, what the heck? Like these are like real people, and like I didn't make the product good enough, and so they have problems. Like this is my fault. They're not dumb. We have smart customers. And they're like, these are like savvy people that like deserve like our respect. And so like we kind of stopped doing that. Like now, like you're not allowed to like talk bad about our customers here. Like if you like say something, it's like, well, like we need to be better. I think we've had this like huge like mindset shift around like serving our customers and like being like customer obsessed. I think it's been like a huge shift for us.
Yeah, I've seen customer obsession signs over here. There's a lot of golden nuggets here. Just to pause real quick, David highlighted some really golden nuggets here, guys. I mean, this is Founders Unscripted, where we're talking the real deal stuff. Like one, for example, when you just focus on like top line revenue, whether you're going through an accelerator or even after, you have to really kind of like hit the brakes and say like, are we focused on the right metrics? Because even at our company, we were like super focused on like growing top line gross bookings at all costs, no matter churn, no matter like customer service, and like it was the wrong metric.
Was that just during YC or even on?
It was even during YC and post YC, and it was the wrong metrics to focus on. And we learned that it was like we should be tracking more like success in our students. Like how do they find success? Like when they get a job, that's success. It's not like booking as many, you know, students into our next cohort. So it's like really rethinking your metrics. You mentioned OKRs, objective key results. You know, I think it was invented by like IBM initially, and then Google like really made it mainstream. But OKRs, implementing that, and then you mentioned like going into your customer data and really looking at that too. And I think those are golden nuggets here, guys. It's not about like in the seed stage, in even Series A, it's not about just growing top line revenue. Right?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I think like there's a day for that down the road when it's like, hey, like the product is mature, it's like been successful for a long time, our churn is like net negative, you know, ideally, and it's like, okay, like let's like go blow this thing up. But I think right now, like those are just like the wrong bets to take, like the wrong metrics to track. And I think for me, a lot of it was like I read through like all of Amazon shareholder letters, you know, maybe a year and a half ago. I sat down and read them all, and it was just like one of his first paragraphs. He's like, you know what, like our customers are smart, and they have hard-earned dollars that they're going to give to the best company that like earns them, and like we want to like earn those dollars every single month. And it was just like a different mindset. He loved his customers and thought they were talented. And I'm like over here just like, these idiots can't install the Pixel. So I think I saw that and was like, hey, like we need to like be more of like a customer obsessed company. And we like made that our number one core value, to be customer obsessed. We've got like posters around here. We have like customer highlights. Like customers are like such a bigger part of the company than they used to be. And that's been a huge shift.
Sweet. Now, what's the hardest thing you've learned building this company, you know, for the past few years?
Churn is a beast. That's been like the biggest thing that keeps me up at night. It's like, how do you get like low churn? And a lot of it is just like due to like, do you care about customers? Like you want to like solve a pain for them. I think that's probably been like the biggest lesson. It's like, yeah, how do we just build for customers and like solve a really deep problem, and build a product that's going to be like sticky enough to like last, and not just this easy come, easy go product. Build a product that's going to be just around and a big part of their like company moving forward.
So you have 14 people in the organization right now. How many people are assigned to customer success?
So we've got 2 that do almost all the success stuff for our like notifications product. And then we've got 2 more that are kind of handling the customers for more of this like upmarket personalization product. But yeah, we definitely want to like invest heavily there, and I think invest heavier than we have been before.
No, that's such an important piece, and we've realized really kind of late too. Like, wow, we need more people on the journey. We need more people working on retention. We need to work on like what's going to motivate the student to complete this next course or the next module. Like early on, we had like 5 marketers and like 1 engineer for Proof, and it was like,
what is going on here? Like, this is like opposite.
Yeah.
You know, then I start like talking to bigger companies and like you start studying like Stripe and these people, and it's like, you know, Zoom, like didn't have a market, you know, they had like 100 engineers before they had like a marketer,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, this is like, all these companies are just engineer companies.
Yep.
But okay, like we need to like bolster that part of the company and like even out the ratio a little bit.
So break out the team structure. How many in management? How many in engineering?
Yeah, so we've kind of split our team up into these small autonomous teams. And we used to be like, the engineers were together, the designers were together, the marketers were together, but now we have these teams that they are responsible for delivering a product end to end to a customer, and they've got everything that they need in there. And so each team has like a customer success person. We have one designer that works on both teams. But there's like a marketer, you know, on each team. There's engineers, front end, back end, like everything, so that each team can like build out their own product. We've got them working on 2 different products right now. So one is the Smart Journeys product that we're launching today. The other one is like a smart content product that basically uses AI to predict which content people on your site need to see in order to convert. Like most people have like a recommended content section or like next steps on your blog or whatever. This is gonna like swap all those out based on who the visitor is, like based on what we're learning about them in order to increase conversion. So one team is like fully working on that and has a couple engineers. Another team is fully working on the Smart Journeys and has a couple engineers, a product manager and all that. I think that's been a big shift for us, is where like these teams are like scrappy, nimble, can just like move super quickly. Everyone talks to the customer. Like engineers used to like not talk to customers. Now everyone's in support, everyone's on customer calls and all that. And like, I think because of that, like a lot of our like management has kind of like melted away. We haven't had to do nearly as many meetings, nearly as many like all that stuff, because like everybody just talked to the customer 10 minutes ago and like heard what they said. Now we can just go do that. I think it's been like a big shift for us.
Nice. You got the customer feedback loop going.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how'd you build the team that you have now?
Like how did we like recruit them, or how did we?
How'd you recruit them? Right. Talent is hard.
Yes, we moved to Austin, and I think it was a lot easier. We were in Annapolis, Maryland, which is this like town of 40,000 people. So like you can't really hire a team there. We ended up moving to Austin, and just through recruiters, we've hosted several events at the office, which have been helpful.
Nice.
Kind of just networked, and no one thing has been like the driver. It's kind of just been like, get out there everywhere as big as we can, and then like people have kind of come from all over the place.
I see.
One problem is like most people are new to Austin. You'll find this now you're here. Most people are new, and so they don't know many other people in Austin. And so like almost every person we hired, like this is their first job in Austin. So I'm like, hey, who else can we hire? Like, we need to hire a bunch of engineers. Like, who are all your engineer buddies? They're like, oh, they like live somewhere else. Like, so I think like we need to start like hiring people that are in Austin and been in Austin.
Right.
Because like we have like no network effects yet from like hiring people. They're all just these like isolated pods.
Yep. Maybe we can poach them from some of these amazing startups.
I'm gonna poach them from you, man. Now that you're here, dude, I'm gonna get the insights. Just don't talk to my employees. Yeah.
We just opened up a second office here, so Austin's a great city. I think it has amazing talent. Some of our best sales guys that we hired, I mean, are like.
It's a great city for like B2B sales. Like I think there's been a lot of like B2B companies that like are under the radar, like, you know, Bizarre Voice. It's like a company like no one's heard of before, but it's like amazing company. And so I think there's like a high like B2B sales like ratio here.
A lot of good colleges here, like Texas A&M and some others that just like recruiting is easier.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like income's state tax free. So if you like got like some of my California employees are like, hey, when can we come to Austin?
Yeah. So extra like 6% boost on.
No, 13.5.
That's the state
tax
in California. Oh, okay.
0 here.
Yeah. 13.5. That's amazing.
Insane. So talk to us. What's some of the mistakes you made in the past couple of years building this company?
So many.
Yeah.
Almost everything.
Let's say
I always tell people, nothing that you're trying to do almost ever works. Like we have so many things, none of them work. But over time, they all build up and like they all work a little bit, and it ends up being this great company over time. But like I feel like no initiative we ever do works as well as I hope it will. Okay, some mistakes are, again, the churn thing, like delaying that too long. I think we took on too much technical debt. We were really scrappy, and I recommend that, but I think we waited too long, and before we knew it, we had this like huge tangled mess of code that like we had to stop and like refactor over 3 months, like lost momentum there. I think not hiring enough engineers fast enough. Like I said, like we just ended up with too many marketers, not enough engineers. definitely a big mistake. With this recent product, probably my biggest learning lesson, I talk about this in one of my recent episodes of Scale or Die, is we were trying to build this personalization product that like you guys saw, and ended up being this huge behemoth. It's a super cool product. It will be super cool, but like the MVP was going to take like a year to build, which is just like far too long for that kind of thing. And so we kind of stopped like a few months ago, and we're like, you know what, we're kind of like slogging through this thing. No one's really interested yet. It's still hard to use. We need to like figure out how to like break this thing down into like a 6-week product. And so at our last retreat, we do a thing called Proof Camp, where every summer we kind of do a retreat here in Austin, and it's like a big like kind of camping thing. And we sat down. That's where we kind of split out the teams into 2 teams. It's like, hey, we're gonna have a competition. Each team is going to get out a brand new product in 6 weeks. We're going to like find a subset of this big product, and we're going to like go get this thing to market in 6 weeks, and just like retrain ourselves how to like build lean, like build quick products. And that's been huge. We like got momentum back. Like 6 weeks is in like a week and a half from now. We're about to launch this like first product like today. So I got the thing out in like 5 weeks. The other one should come out a couple weeks later, you know, after that. And so I think like getting caught up in this huge product is just like a mistake. Like it's so easy to make. I think we just bit off more than we can chew on that, and it was too much too soon. And so I think we're kind of recorrecting for that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, you know, that you've got these insights that you've learned from just like you want to ship product faster, get feedback, then loop, and then add on to that.
And it's funny because like I told you, like with Proof, the notification at the beginning, like we did it super lean. So like I know this, like I've done this, like this is like one of our core principles, and yet we still messed up. And like still, like it can happen to anybody. You know, if you're just not paying attention, you're not scrappy enough, you're just like, you know, you kind of start building for this like mythical person you're not even really sure like wants the product. And it's like you got to get like into the market as absolutely as fast as you can.
I think also like I've made that mistake too. Like it's you want to gain confidence in a longer product roadmap, something that's more complex, more advanced, and so you start tacking on all these features, bells and whistles, because you want to build up your confidence as CEO, saying,
it's perfect.
It's got to be perfect before I ship it.
Like I just did our first demo of Smart Journeys just right before this, and on the call, like I've just piecemealed the product together. Like it's not ready. It might be kind of ready in a week, but like I'm selling it. Like I'm showing him like some like designs in Figma. It's like, it's not even the real product yet. I'm just like, this is what it's gonna look like. It's all kind of scrapped together. And like, I didn't really want to do it. I wanted to push it back a week, but like I'd already like booked it and was like, I'm just gonna like go into market with this thing. And it's like, I think you gotta be like embarrassed of your first product. Like if you're not embarrassed, if you're not hacking it together, like you waited like too long. It's like, we're going into the market like today, even though it's not really there yet, but like, that's gonna help us get there.
Love it. Talk to me about your schedule, like, you know, as a CEO of this company, Proof, like what's your typical week look like?
I mean, it shifts all the time. I guess what's fun about starting a company is you can kind of pick whatever you're excited about. Like there's kind of like every week I decide like, okay, what needs to be done, and then like what am I really excited about? So I can kind of like shift projects like all the time. Recently I've been like heads down building out the sales process, and so I've just kind of like dove in. I'm back to like implementing. I'm like watching HubSpot videos and talking to consultants about how to hook this whole thing up, and like building out the whole like sales demo process.
I see.
So I've been doing that like the last week. Before,
so is it like, since your marketing background, are you building a funnel and then doing like inbound appointments?
So we're just basically building out the funnel. So for Smart Journeys, we're like launching, it's gonna be a new landing page with like book a demo, you know, then you got the demo booking form, and then the calendar invite, and we've got some sequences like, you know, automated email follow-up and all that.
And those appointments go to you?
Those appointments are gonna go to me. Yeah, so it's gonna go to me. I'm gonna be kind of like the pioneer of the sales team there, and have it be like founder-led. Because I think like so much of the sales process, like I don't really care about making sales right now. Like, you know, it's gonna be trivial amount of revenue. But what I'm getting is the insights, and so it's like I can't like farm that off to a sales team. That's it. I want to know people. I want to know that people are willing to pay money. That's a good sign that we're onto something.
Are you collecting payment on these?
I'm collecting payment. Yeah, it's like an early, like paid early access.
How much are you charging?
So I'm not doing it on the demos. I'm still giving people like a free trial. But it's like starting at like $199 a month. You know, for the product, kind of scaling up from there. Again, just to make sure people are like, because people will say, you know, they like it, and they'll say we want to try it. But like, if there's no money exchange, you really don't know yet.
When you get that PO or that credit card,
you got to have some money involved. And so again, I don't really care so much about the sales yet. I'm just kind of trying to prove out the model a little bit, get the right customers in the door, just like get them in front of our product teams and kind of go from there.
What's this product called that you just launched today?
Smart Journeys.
Smart Journeys.
So it's a block you can put on your site that then changes in real time as people move throughout the funnel and like the customer journey on your site. So it's basically like a funnel in a funnel. And it's super cool. It's basically like a light way to do personalization, because I think a lot of companies get like really in their head. It's hard to implement and hard to do all that. So we're saying like, don't do that yet. Start with this really simple implementation. We're seeing like 30% lift in our demos right now for people that see that, which is obviously like a significant number. And then we'll kind of build out like the rest of the whole platform past that.
Sweet. We'll test it out for our B2B.
Yeah, that would be sweet. And who knows? We're early on. Today's launch day.
Early access. That's a secret. You get a discount, right?
Oh yeah, there's discount early access. So now's the time to get in. But no, I think we're just excited to get a product back into the market because it's been a while.
Nice. Tell me some secrets that maybe you're willing to share with the audience in building this startup. Some secret insights that you haven't talked about. One or two.
Just the ones I just tell my wife and not tell anybody. I mean, gosh, I don't know. It's like it's all stuff that I think is out there. I think being able to move quick is just like, so you can't overestimate that or overvalue that. Like, just can you move quick and like not get like bogged down, and it just happens before you know it. You take your eye off the ball for a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got these processes and everything's slow and these checks and balances, and like people like don't have autonomy. I think it's like a big thing that like as we have shifted our teams to these smaller autonomous teams, and I've kind of said like, you don't need to ask me for almost any permission to do anything. Like, I want you to make a ton of decisions, and like empowering people to make decisions at their own scale like has like sped things up a ton. And it used to kind of be like, you kind of got to go to me to ask everything, and like go to me, and it's like that sucks. And so I'm kind of like saying like, please don't ask me about almost anything. I'm gonna kind of like cast the direction, but like you figure out pricing, you figure out the customer, you figure out a lot of these things. And I think that's been super, super helpful. And so I think like as grassroots as we can make our company and like flat, like the better. At least like right now, it's just at this stage. It's like, we just don't need the bureaucracy. We just need like nimble, quick, like place as many bets as you can in a given week, learn from them and like iterate and like move quick from there. Nice. That's kind of like where we're pushing everything right now. Love it.
Now, do you have an exit strategy for Proof?
I wouldn't say we have. I mean, we definitely are building the company to be a big company. I think with that, like, probably comes an IPO. Like, I think a great company is going to have that as an option. We want to build a company that like can employ thousands of people and like be like a great example of like what a company should be. I think we get really, really excited about that. I don't have to have that. Like, I don't have to have the IPO. Again, I think it's a byproduct like of just building something great.
Right.
But I'd say like more of our focus is like build a great company that can impact a ton of people. Probably that means there's an A, a B, a C, an IPO. I think like those aren't necessarily like the goals. They're more like byproducts of just like building something that's like true and like lasting. And like I'd love to have a company that like my grandson can work at someday.
Oh, wow. So
and it's like, yeah, I'd love to have that. And again, it's like if that doesn't happen, if we sell in 10 years, like we'll be better off for having like a 100-year vision.
Right.
Anyway.
So in 12 months, what if you got an offer for 100 million? Would you sell?
If we got for 100 million in 12 months, yeah, I'd probably sell. I'd probably sell that.
Thanks for honesty.
We'll see though. It's like we're trying to build a company where it's the thing that we love coming to work every day. So I always want that to be a really hard decision.
Right.
I want it to be like, because honestly, if I sold right now, what would I do tomorrow? I'd start Proof. It's like I would just start another company like this.
Yep.
And I love the people here. We've got an amazing team. We've got a great new product. We've got a customer base that we love. So it's like, I want it to be like extremely hard to sell. But at the same time, like, I don't exist to work at Proof. It's like this, Proof is to like, serve me and my family and my, family's family and for generations to come. And so it's like, I'm always thinking about that as well. Like working at Proof is not the end goal for me.
Right. So what motivates you? Like, because, as a founder CEO, there's a lot of hard times and ups and downs. Like what gets you, going and energized all the time?
I think part of it's financial. There's definitely an element of like, I want to make money doing this. I think bigger than that. I really care about like the team and the people, and I think like we've got an opportunity to like really build into people and like set employees up for like a different level of success and like purpose in their life than they would have like without us. I think like the team is incredibly compelling to me. I think like my family, like I'm trying to like build something in like my family, and I've mentioned a couple times, but like I'm trying to think like what do the Rogenmosers look like in 500 years, and like how do we set up family structures and like family institutions that like get passed on from generation to generation to generation, like 1,000 years from now.
So like legacy.
Totally. It's like that is huge. And I think like it's like the ways like Proof can like serve that, the better. It's like it's fun to like build a great product and like build something that's like really, really exciting. I think like it's like what's something we'd be really proud of and like has like a huge like people legacy in like 50 years. I think it's pretty exciting.
So David, man, we got some jam-packed content in this episode. I love it. Thanks for being so transparent and sharing all these good advice. What's the last advice you would give to a founder or startup entrepreneur that's thinking about getting into our space, especially in tech startups, because that's what we do here at this show is interview amazing tech founders.
Yeah. I think have a technical co-founder is one. This is probably like YC tips. Have a technical co-founder is probably going to increase chance of success. Go into a market that you know already. So ideally don't like find some market you don't know anything about. Like what's the pain you already see right now or already feel right now?
Yep.
Solve that, and then just again, it's YC. It's just like make something that people want. Like keep coming back to that. Like I think we've got it on the wall here. Yeah. It is. Make something people want. Like build a tool that like somebody wants, like at least one person really wants, and then kind of expand out from there. And I think great things will happen.
Sweet. I appreciate it, David. Thanks.
This has been awesome, man. Thank you, Terry.
Amazing.
It'll be fun to keep doing this and keep doing the journey together.
Yeah, let's build these couple unicorns here.
Totally. I'll see you in 1,000 years.
All right. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite movie?
Say Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
What's the latest business book you're reading?
It's called Mental Models. It's just basically a bunch of frameworks for how to think. And it gives you kind of like an architecture for how to like think about different problems. Any given problem will swell to the size that like you give it. And so like let's like shrink the size, get this problem out the door so we can keep moving.
Favorite podcast?
I listen to Joe Rogan.
Who's your top 3 entrepreneurs or people that you are inspired by?
I like Des Traynor from Intercom. I think he's got great product thoughts. I've been following Heaton Shaw here right now. He's got a lot of good thoughts on like launching, like and finding product market fit early on. Probably Jeff Bezos. I think he's got this great long-term vision that I'm kind of inspired by, like that, like the bigness of his thoughts.
Favorite food?
Tacos.
How many taco trucks are in Austin?
Oh my gosh. The first week I was here, I ate tacos almost every meal. Tacos and Topo Chicos was all I had, ate and drank.
Okay, so, I'm gonna get some recommendations from you.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.